Good evening. My name is Jeff Grifa. I'm one of the college counselors here, and I work with students in the second half of the alphabet. For tonight's installment of College Information Week 2024, I'm going to be talking about Naviance, which is a comprehensive college and career readiness software program that helps students for the application process, for career planning, for future planning as well. And we've been using the program since about 2007, so we've had a lot of experience here at McQuaid throughout the years. Essentially, Naviance is used by high schools to streamline the college counseling, career exploration, and student success tracking. And it's used by high school students, obviously. Parents also have an account, and our teachers also have an account, and that's specifically for letters of recommendation writing. Um, General features that we use Naviance for is to do a college search where students can put in their criteria of what they're interested in from a college experience. And they get a results list where they can then explore certain colleges that they might be interested in learning more about. We can track applications. So we can tell when a student has submitted an application, if and when the colleges have downloaded those applications, and we can even see when decisions are rendered. It's also important for career assessments. There are personality assessments in there. There's a career interest profiler. There's scholarship searches available. We also use it for transcript management when students are going through the application process. So it's quite useful on many different fronts. Students have their own accounts. Parents and students will share their account, but parents have to log in using different credentials than the students. You can't goof up the program. The best way to learn about it is to get logged in and play around with the program. You're not going to accidentally apply to college. Parents can add colleges to a student's list. They may not take them off of the student's list. That's a good thing because then it can facilitate any discussions that need to be happening at home as well. In addition to those items, Naviance is kind of a bridge between the student and the counselor when we're not sitting next to each other. I can go into a student's account and take a look at the colleges that they're interested in. I can take a look at how interested they are in those colleges. So, for example, students can rate their interest level for any particular college, medium, high, or low interest. And for example, if I have a college that's coming in for a visit, or if they've offered a specific program, a scholarship, I can look to see who has that scholarship, that college listed in their Naviance account, reach out to that student so long as they fit the criteria and ask them if they're interested in applying for certain scholarships or to talk to a college representative that's coming into school that day. So Naviance is extremely useful on many different fronts for us. And as I said, it has changed the way that we do business. It allows for us to spend more time with students, less time on paperwork. Now we can help students with their essays, give them direct support as they work on their college applications, and to the families as well. So we're not spending too much time doing that paperwork anymore. So we have more individualized attention towards students and families. Currently, the 11th grade students are already registered for Naviance, and their parents and guardians will receive registration information on or around January 9th, 2025. That is the night when we're going to host Junior Parent Information Evening, which I highly suggest that you come to. But if you're not available to make it that night, we are going to record the session and make it available on this YouTube channel for McQuaid's counseling office. Younger students are going to get registered for Naviance starting sophomore year. The counselors have been going into classrooms and giving an introduction of Naviance and talking about the career readiness tools that are in there and things of that nature. But if there are students who are not yet registered who would like to get an early jump on it, please feel free to reach out to Anne Marie Galetto. Anne Marie is she's the manager of our College Advisement Center. The College Advisement Center is a place for juniors and seniors to get help and support for their college search and application process. It is the place where we will be teaching juniors in our college planning seminar this coming spring. It is also the location where we've had at least 130 plus colleges come to visit with our McQuaid students. So the College Advisement Center it's a bump in place. There are a lot of students that are going in there for help. A lot of professionals coming in from colleges to meet with our students, and it is also a nice classroom space. Most importantly, that's where students can go and get help with their application. Miss Galetto is there. She's a wonderful resource for help. Please don't hesitate to reach out to her, especially if you'd like to get into Naviance earlier than what I've suggested before. So back to Naviance, the program itself has two components. One for counselors, recommenders, and then there's another portion for students. Um, the part for students, Naviance student, is really specific to doing the career interest inventories, the personality tests. They're there for looking at colleges and keeping an organized list. It's where students can keep a portfolio of their achievements, accomplishments, and keep track of other things that they want to do. Whereas Naviance Succeed is where we counselors and Anne Marie Galetto and our teacher recommenders will do all kind of like the back end work, if you will. This is where we'll upload transcripts, letters of recommendation, fill out forms, and submit them to the colleges. It's also a really great tool for us. We can run reports to look at college statistics, and many different like variables to look at different reports to see what our students' success looks like after high school. So it's really useful, but it is going to be broken down into two components, one for students and families and the other one for recommenders and counselors. So we just generically refer to it as Naviance. So you don't have to call it something different. You can just say Naviance and we'll know what you're talking about in that regard. Now I'm going to take a couple moments and share my screen, and then walk you through the different portions of Naviance. So the best way to get to Naviance is to go to student.naviance.com/MJHS from McQuaid Jesuit High School. And once you're there, I've been logged in before, but it would take you to a page where you click on a student icon. You can also click on a parent/guardian if you're that. And then you'll put in an email and login credentials. Okay, so when you're at the home page here, this is what we call the dashboard, and this is, obviously the first page that every student's going to see when they log in. It's set up right now for our fictional junior year student named Kent Dorfman. And if I click on this, this is going to give you his profile. Okay. Going back to the home page, you have here this planning for your future. I can edit this path if I'd like to, just by making some different choices there. Here are my, some career goals that I have in mind. Right here you have a message from the counseling office to juniors about getting ready for their second semester of college planning seminar and going through the college search process. You also have links that we have provided that we think are useful for students and families going through this process that we will update periodically, specifically to look at 2025 Rochester Area College Fairs. This is still set up for the current seniors in that section specifically. There's also some tasks here. If we had any, like for instance, we might have one coming up here for next year's, for you folks when you're seniors next year. We might ask you to do your brag sheet, your senior brag sheet, your parent brag sheet, which will assist us in our letter of recommendation writing. Right here, you can click on view matches. Colleges have access to like students' self-reported GPAs, their areas of majors interest, things like that. And colleges will kind of target their marketing towards particular groups of students based on their interests and self-reported GPAs and ideas for what they want to major in. Okay. Right here, you can essentially type in a college's name and get to that college's profile, which I'll show you a little bit later. Right here, you have this section, which is very useful for seniors. I'll show you that later as well. This is just kind of like a quick snapshot of that area of Naviance, as is this right here, colleges I'm thinking about. As juniors, this is the area that you're going to be using the most, just to keep track of your colleges that you are, of course, thinking about, and gives you a spot that you can go back to every once in a while to learn more about them. If I had some scholarships saved here, I would input them, or they would be in here, populated in this area based on my work in a different section of Naviance. And then they have like things that for the certain careers that I have saved. Here are some skills and some knowledge sets that I would need to focus on to be quote unquote successful in those careers. And here are the level of education that are going to be needed for the careers that I have saved in Naviance in the career section. Right. In addition to this, what I've shown you, we have like a quick link to get to your favorited areas. So favorite scholarships, colleges I'm applying to, thinking about, and favorite careers and clusters. You also see this section, which is messages that we've gotten from Anne-Marie Galetto. Anne-Marie Galetto is our College Advisement Center coordinator, and she does all things to help students through this college search and application process to provide support for them. And as you can see, she also provides a lot of useful information for our students going through this process. These emails will also get sent to whatever email is used or was used to create the account for the student. And we will often send out messages to parents as well, just to get the folks CC'd in on so nobody misses important information. Okay. So when you're looking at this homepage, essentially we're gonna be focusing on like these areas right here, and specifically what we use the most of is self-discovery and colleges. All right, I'm gonna start off looking at the self-discovery area and walk you through some of the different assessments that we use and that are available for students to learn more about themselves. And the first one that I want to talk about here, as soon as I find my notes, is going to be the Strengths Explorer. Okay, so the Strengths Explorer basically assesses 10 talent themes for individuals and identifies each student's 3 strongest emerging talents, such as confidence, dependability, or being a future thinker. It provides explanations for these themes, strategies for capitalizing on each, and action items to help students gain insight into the greatest talents, like their natural patterns of thought, their feeling, and behavior that they can leverage in classroom and in life. Okay, so essentially you get right here are my top 3 themes: organizer, dependability, and caring. Makes sense if I'm somebody who's going to be working with students as a counselor. I can view my full report if I'd like, and I can also look at this workbook where I could put in like a journal entries. I can say, hey, this is, I'm trying to work on my organization. This is what I did. So I can kind of keep myself working, in the direction that I want to go. And of course, you'd want to take a look at the career pathways here related to the Strengths Explorers. Okay. The next one we have is personality. So the personality assessment used to be called Do What You Are, and basically it helps students identify their personality type by asking them to choose scenarios that best represent how they behave in real life. The assessment takes about 15 minutes and has 36 different scenarios. The results will include your personality type and provides tips to achieve success in a way that works for you, as well as best fit career options. All right. And so what I always tell students is like these tests are not designed to tell you who you are or what you should do. Okay. They're here to provide some insight into who you might be. Okay. And really they're there for students to read about, reflect on, and decide for themselves if this is going to be accurate or not. Okay. And you have these little drop down menus here. You can take a look at all the different sections, recommended careers. Again, that's where I go most of the time, because when I'm here, I can click on something. Let me find a good one here. Education and childcare administrator. So I get an overview of this career. Okay, what kind of education I would need, the median salary. Here's the national clusters and pathways. Okay, so if I click on this, I can find other different related careers that I might want to investigate as well. Okay, wages, what they do, right? All this information that's helpful. And you can click the link just to get to those sections a lot faster than scrolling up and down. Okay, so that is the personality assessment. And then you have the career interest profiler. The career interest profiler captures your interests to help determine your personality traits and suggests careers based on the U.S. Department of Labor's data. The assessment takes about 15 minutes and includes 60 questions about your interests. The results will include your personality traits according to the Holland Code and how those help with career exploration and planning. The results will offer career recommendations based on your personality. So essentially, it's going to ask questions like, do you like to build kitchen cabinets? Do you like to use a calculator? So we want students thinking about, all right, I guess I like to use a calculator, but really this is asking me about data input and interfacing with, like a computer or other device. Building kitchen cabinets, maybe not kitchen cabinets, but I like carpentry. I like building things. I like working with my hands. So anytime I say yes to one of those questions, a point is given to a personality type: realistic, artistic, investigative, enterprising, conventional, and social. And every time a point is given to one of those personality types, the three highest scoring personality types will give you what's called a Holland code. And a Holland code is going to be related to each one of these different careers. So based on my Holland code, which is social, realistic, and artistic, these are the recommendations for careers that they have given me. Right? And again, I can learn about them, click on it like I did before, and see if it's something that I would be interested in exploring further. Okay, so the next section that we're going to be talking about is the Career Cluster Finder, right here at the top. So the Career Cluster Finder, you'll indicate activities and school subjects that you like or dislike and personal qualities that you possess. The assessment takes about 20 minutes and includes 108 questions. In the results, students will learn how well each of the 16 national career cluster fits their current interests and qualities. Okay. So right here you get my top 4 cluster matches. Human services, that makes sense as a counselor. Education and training makes sense as a school counselor. And hospitality, tourism, architecture, and construction. I do a lot of housework at home, so maybe that's why that's showing up. And I like to have a good time. I don't know why the hospitality and tourism has shown up, but I could learn about that a little bit more if I wanted to. And so again, you get your career cluster interest profiler, the different qualities that I thought or activities that I thought were most important. I can review them and reflect on them, like I said before. Okay, and moving on from there, on to intelligences. So the intelligences assessment and results provide a more rounded view of students by looking at the following types of intelligence: emotional, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, logical, mathematical, musical, naturalist, spatial, and existential. The report also asks individuals to rate themselves on the traits of emotional intelligence and provides suggestions to further develop all intelligences. So this is founded on Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory, and it's been written and normed specifically for students from 8th to 12th grade. Okay, so it's again one of those nice insightful kind of reflective exercises that students can use to learn more about who they are and again get some recommended careers. Then we have learning and productivity. So the learning and productivity helps students identify their sensory and mindset preferences so you can develop study practices that work best for them. So they find out how they learn best and how they can be most productive. The assessment takes about 20 minutes and has 69 questions. they'll ask questions like, tell us how much each statement is like you. Think about how much this is like you, or like how you prefer to learn and work. Then choose the answer that best fits. So, for example, it says, I think best when I feel warm. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. So the results will include tips for making studying easier and more effective, and give strategies for how you can be more comfortable and successful in class. So this gives me, as a result of, I did this about 3 years ago. So sensory preferences. I'm an auditory learner. Um, Give me recommendations on that. I'm also a kinesthetic learner. Again, recommendations. Tactile learner, recommendations. So then they get environmental. So like, where do you like to do your work? Um, Low light, high light, with the temperature. Do you like to be able to move around and stuff like that? What are your mindset preferences? Do you like to be motivated by yourself, or you like more intrinsically motivated, collaborative or independent? So everybody's different, right? And you're not always going to be one thing. It can change depending on what environment you are going to be in. So this is a good, insightful, reflective exercise as well. So the next one is Achieve Works skills. And this looks at the skills that are critical in both school and the workplace, and ensures students are prepared for college and work ready with a greater understanding of their skill set and ways to develop their individual skills. High school students can learn what their top aptitudes and soft skills are, how they can be built over time, and which employment and career opportunities suit them best. They can also retake these over time, and students can see that how their skill set and opportunities have grown. And this is specifically written for students in 10th to 12th grade, and it can be completed in less than 20 minutes. It's based on 50 years of ongoing research, and it provides insights into the complex skills identified as critical for academic and employment success. And they have 15 different skill facets, comprised of 5 skills within the report. So you have conscientiousness, creativity, critical thinking, leadership, and social emotional. So along with the results, students will find details for each skill, get like ways to develop independent skills, and a list of careers that match those top skills. All right. So again, these are wonderful tools, not utilized enough. So I highly advise you and your students to look at these. Okay. So now for the fun stuff, at least fun for maybe some current juniors and their families, and that's the college section. Okay. As I mentioned before, like, Naviance can be used for researching colleges and learning more about them. This is like, using Naviance is going to be the backbone of when we do college planning seminar in the spring semester. So we're going to have students in a class, the College Advisement Center, for 4 different lessons, and we'll talk about essentially all the aspects that they need to be considering as they embark on this research and application process. All right, but Naviance is going to play a big role in that. So let me show you the college super match here. Essentially, the college super match is a tool that makes it easier for students to explore their options and discover colleges that are a fit with what they're looking for in a college experience and a match with their academic profile. So institutions matched with a student are given they have like a fit score, to help students understand how that institution aligns with like whatever their entered search criteria was. Academic match results are provided with each matched institution to help students gauge if that institution is a reach, match, or a school that they're likely to get into based on GPA, SAT, and ACT scores. So we're looking at it right now, and I did a quick search earlier just so I could have some things populated. Essentially, what students will do is they'll go through each one of these sections up here, and they'll decide, on the criteria that is listed within each of these. So, for example, location. There's 2 ways you can do this. I chose to search by state or region. You could also search by distance. So if I wanted to look at like colleges within a certain mileage from my relative's zip code in Louisiana, I can do that. All right. So there's a lot of different ways to search. You can save a search. You can come back to it later. You can have like Louisiana colleges. You can have, New York safe colleges, Pennsylvania reach, whatever. So you can do a bunch of different searches and save them and come back to look at them. All right. But what's cool about this Supermatch college search is that like whenever I have something in here, I can say that it's got to be, something I must have, or if it's something I can live without. All right. So I just have these three sections in here: majors, which is psychology, the acceptance rate, which I created a range for. So anytime you see squares in any section of these college search tools, you can click a bunch of them to create a range there. All right. Again, with this process for college search at this stage in the game, so meaning like if you're going to use admissions criteria for part of your college search, I just want you to realize that juniors don't have all the necessary information. They don't have a 6 semester transcript, and the 6 semester transcript is the transcript that the college is going to use to make their decision at the end of a student's junior year. So 2 semesters freshman, 2 sophomore, 2 junior gives you a 6 semester transcript. In addition to that, many students don't even have SAT or ACT scores to go with. So we're not really focused on can I get into that college right now. We're focused on do I like this college? Is this a place where I could thrive and be challenged, but also reach success? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for fit right now. And then we'll talk about, hey, what are the chances of you getting into these colleges? All right. So, another thing too is acceptance rate. Like I think more than 70% of the colleges in the country accept more than 70% of their applicants. All right. So I want students to not equate acceptance rate with quality of education. Those two things, acceptance rate does not equal quality of education. Okay. Simply means that the college received more applications than seats for. Okay. At any rate, so that is the admissions page section of that. So I just wanted to mention some things. So essentially what happens here, I have 139 institutions that are an academic match and also match the criteria selected above. That's too many for me. So if I move campus surroundings to like a must-have, I'm still at 139, so I can put that back. And maybe I'll put in something like oh, you know what? I don't think New York is in here right now. So let me add them back in. That was the one that was keeping the number too high. So let me get to them. Okay. Good. Now I'm at 10. All right. And so you can see the list here. So I've got the college, do not use because College of St. Rose has closed. So I shouldn't even be listed there. But then you have UVM, which would be the next one on my list. All right. So they're only an 89% match. And why is that? Well, they're out of state. Okay. So it's a close match. It's not 100%. Am I willing to kind of give up wanting to be in New York State to go to UVM? Possibly, but there might be other better matches like 100% for Hofstra, okay? And I'm going to click this pin thing here. So what happens is anytime I have pinned a college, you can see right here that it's keeping track on the bottom. That means I can compare them. So I've got 3 colleges that are now stacked up against each other, and I can just take a look at, the information, as they compare. So it just helps me make a decision if I wanted to look at it this way. In addition, you've got the interested in you. So interested in you just basically means that there are some colleges that are interested in someone like me from where I live in the country, my self-reported GPA. If I'm thinking about these majors, they might target their marketing towards me. So that's all that is. Colleges I'm thinking about, I talked about that earlier. That's where I can save all the colleges. So if I really liked Hofstra, I click that favorite list, and now Hofstra is going to be in colleges I'm thinking about. Okay. So I also want to show you the advanced college search. So this is going to be similar to the Supermatch, okay? But the advanced college search, it's a similar tool in that students can input criteria to find colleges that fit. The results of the search can also be saved here. All right, so with these radial buttons, I can only click one. With these, like I said before, you can kind of create a range. I'm going to go co-ed here. College groups, you can see HBCUs, Hispanic serving, Ivy League. I would leave those blanks as well as religious affiliation. Because if I start putting information, if I start inputting criteria here, I'm going to get 0 hits. I know that through experience. And I also know that I can find out if a college fits a certain group or is religiously affiliated just by looking at that college profile. Okay. All right, so that's the type of college. Now I'm going to go and look at location. I'm simply going to stick with New York again. Where am I at? I'm at 73. So now I'm going to go to students, and this is where I can put in, I'm looking for, a place that's going to have 2,000 to 10,000 students. And I'm at 39 right now. Okay. In addition, you saw here like these radial buttons: students, percent of students with minority backgrounds, male versus female, percent from out of state. Leave those blank. Again, you're gonna miss out on some more colleges to explore if you do that. And then you have the admissions. This one doesn't give you as much as the other section, but simply because you can't do the range here, I can only go with the ranges that they've provided. Okay. But I'm going to leave that no preference right now and just take a look at the 39 matches that I have. And I didn't even put in psychology actually, so let me go do that first. So I've got psychology, hit go, and I'm going to try to find general psychology. Boom, add selected, view majors, 35. Okay, and here are my criteria. If I click on a link, I can go back and change it. I can save the search. I have several searches that I've saved throughout the years. Okay, and you can see I've got Psych Safe and Psych Reach. So if I'm a senior and I go through this college search and I'm looking for colleges that offer psychology, I can have a list of colleges that are going to be Reach, and I can have colleges that are going to be Safe, where all the other criteria would be the same except for admission selectivity, which is pretty cool. All right, so then we get a list of the colleges that fit my criteria. All right, these little stars basically mean that that college has an extended profile, okay, which includes videos, virtual tours, things like that. All right, if you don't see a star next to it, like College of New Rochelle, that is simply going to show you some data points. All right. Now, if I want to add any of these colleges to my list, I simply hit the checkbox and I hit add to colleges I'm thinking about. All right, and so here we are, colleges I'm thinking about. And so this is just another way for, in this case, Clarkson and Hofstra to connect with me. No harm in that. I'm going to hit next. And if I want to give them my phone number and things like that, I can. Hit submit. I'm good to go. All right, so on the colleges I'm thinking about page, I'm going to go through these different sections to explain them. Obviously, this column is the college name, delivery type. So CA stands for college common application. And the common application is one application that you can use to apply to like 900 plus different colleges out there. This shows that the student added Alliance University. If it was a parent, it would say parent in red letters. If it was a counselor, it would say counselor in green letters. The expected difficulty, if we completed this section, the college counselor would put in and say, all right, based on your academic profile and the academic profile at that college, this is going to be a reach college or one that you're competitive at or one that you'd probably get into. And you have your deadlines here as well. So for Alliance University, I've got early decision, I've got regular decision. Okay, we're always looking for fall entry terms. All right. Now, this is nice that they have the deadlines here, but I would not depend on these deadlines. I would go directly to the college's website, look at their application deadlines to get the most accurate, up-to-date, detailed information. Okay. And then here's the interest area, which is nice. The interest is good because this is where students can put in like how interested they are in this college. So this is cool because like Naviance is a bridge between the student and the counselor when we're not sitting down together. And we are going to get colleges, inviting us to nominate students for certain scholarships. So I would want to know who has this college in their list. And if they meet the criteria, can I nominate that student to apply for a scholarship? Absolutely. Okay. Similarly, when I know that colleges are in the area, or if somebody is visiting, or if it's a college fair, I can send messages to all the students who have that particular college in their colleges I'm thinking about list to let them know what's going on, to keep them abreast of any opportunities that might present themselves throughout this process. So it's a really, really good thing. And then you have the more right here. So you can, under the more options, you can send an email. Maybe click on one where I know I'm going to have more options here. You can request information, and when you click on that, essentially what that's going to do is take me to that college's website to fill out like an inquiry form. You can go directly to the college's website, or I can disconnect. Or if I hadn't connected yet, I could simply hit connect and put in my information, letting them know that this is how they can get in touch with me. We also have the scattergrams, which are very popular for our students and families. So what this is showing me right here is that our fictional student Kent Dorfman, he compares to all of the other McQuaid High School applicants to Binghamton in this way. So here is our fictional student sitting at a 90 GPA and a 1220 SAT. So if I'm as a college counselor working with a student, I'm taking a look at this scattergram and saying, this is a little bit of a reach college for you. And the only reason I'm saying that is that this student is below the majority of these green check marks, which equal acceptances, the red X's, which equal denials, and then you have these circles, which are wait lists. So if our fictional student was up here, I'd say, all right, man, this looks like a safe school for you. All right. If I was down here, I would say that would be a far reach. Right here is a little bit of a reach. Okay. It doesn't mean I would tell the student not to apply. That just means that I would help that student prepare the best application that they could to SUNY Binghamton. So that's the scattergram. And the data here is, I want to say, like 2018 to present, but we have different data ranges depending on the college so that you can have a more accurate view. Some colleges simply don't have enough data. And if that's the case, and I always recommend this anyway, this is only the McQuaid data. You have to look at how you compare to the national applicant or international applicant pool just to get a full, complete picture. And so you can also change this from SAT to ACT just to get a different view. And as you can see, not as many students have taken the ACT as the SAT. So just something to let you be aware of. All right. All right. So let me go back. So this is the overall profile. So how would I get here? Let me go back to colleges I'm thinking about. So when I'm at colleges I'm thinking about and I click on the name, this takes me directly to that college profile. And as you saw, Binghamton has the stars next to their name, so this is an extended profile. You see videos here, you see some photos, probably a virtual tour embedded there. All right, so this is all good information. Then down here you get your average net price based on a family income. This is just estimates. All right, so I would recommend using the net price calculator, which is a financial aid estimator tool. Every college website that receives federal funding has to have one on their website, so make sure you go and check that out. Graduation rates are really important. Okay, acceptance rate 39%. This is a highly selective university. All right. And then you have the college overlaps. So this section right here is like, if I'm a student, I'm trying to grow my college list, how can I do that? Well, this is one way. Not every college profile gives you the college overlaps, but in this case, if I'm applying to Binghamton and I want to grow my list, I can ask like, all right, so what are the other 10 colleges that students who applied to Binghamton applied to? And so it doesn't mean that they're going to be good fits. I have to decide that, right? So it's just like somebody telling me, hey, you should look at UB, you should look at RIT. I'm like, okay, I will look at them. They might not be a good fit, but if I'm trying to grow my list, this is a good place to start. Okay, so that's what the college overlaps entails. And then you have your deadlines as well. So the other thing you see here, so this says overview. You can also click on studies. This gives us your student to faculty ratio, as you can see, class size, and this retention rate, which is solid. That's a very good retention rate, and that is the percentage of students who return their sophomore year. Okay, and then 70% job placement rate within 1 year. You can look at that more closely through the college's website as well. You scroll down and you can see top areas of study. It doesn't mean your best, it just means the most populated. Okay, and then you can see what are all the majors offered at Binghamton University, and I could pare that down just to look at bachelor's degrees as well. Okay. Then you get to student life. Obviously, you're going to be living there as a student, so you want to make sure there are things for you to do. And so this is the area where you can learn about the breakdown of the class, demographics, housing, student organizations. All these are different links to more information on organizations and services. So really, really good stuff here for students to make their decisions. This is kind of like flipping through a pamphlet that you'd get in the mail, essentially, with all these stats and photos and things coming at you. All right. Now, the other thing that I didn't show you before from this admissions page is that you have the application requirements, recommended coursework, which honestly most of our students are going to exceed anyway coming out of McQuaid. And then you have some application factors and how Binghamton, in this case, rates the different areas of the application. You're going to see overlaps and differences among your colleges in this section. Okay. And again, you've got application deadline. Costs, this is your tuition. This is the cost to sit in the classroom, plus your meal plan in your room. And then based on your income, they're saying that this is like essentially what you could be looking at paying, each year at Binghamton. Okay. And then you have the spotlights about like just certain students from their community that you can learn about just to see, what the students are like and what they're saying about Binghamton. So as I said, this is kind of like flipping through a brochure. I also refer to this as like tier one research. So if I'm a student interested in Binghamton and I like everything that I see here, the next step would be to look at the college's website, which I can link up to right here. So this is what I call tier two research. All right. So on tier two research, I always talk about the 3 A's: academics, admissions, and then usually embedded someplace in the admissions is you're going to find some financial aid information. So three A's: academics, admission, and aid. Okay. And so these are going to show you information obviously about the cost of attendance and scholarship availability. The academics, you're going to learn more about your particular major. If I'm going for psychology at Binghamton, I want to see what kind of classes I'm going to take. That can like drastically change whether or not I like a college, if they offer all the classes or not that I'm interested in. And obviously the admissions page is going to talk about when and how to apply and what are all the requirements that I need to successfully submit my application. Beyond that, I think students should be looking at anything that interests them about the college. Nothing. They shouldn't judge themselves if they're looking at extracurricular activities or if there's like they're looking for like I don't know, like a place to go fishing near their campus. If that's something that helps them keep, balance in their daily lives, I want them to try to extend that into their college life because, it is about balance. It is about remaining enthusiastic. And if you're enthusiastic, you'd be more equipped to take on challenges and thrive when you're at that university or college. Okay, the next section I want to show you is colleges I'm applying to. And basically, this is where a lot of the seniors are doing their current work. You can see right here, if I was applying to Adelphi University, they have a December 1 early action deadline that I would have met 2 days ago, if not sooner. Maybe this would say that I'd be a competitive applicant. This shows that I did request my transcript, which is good, obviously, if I want to have a completed application. And if this was a real case scenario, this section for office materials would say initial materials submitted. Office materials refers to the teacher letters of recommendation, the counselor letter of recommendation, the transcript, any necessary forms that need to go to that college as well. And the submission type, as a reminder, it's showing here that it's a common application that we can submit online, which is why the computer screen is here. Okay. And this we would know if in a real case scenario, it would say common application or unknown, probably would say common app here. So we would know what method to use to send all the documents to that particular college. Okay. So again, this is where students can keep track of their application status. The more section has the same exact stuff available here as in the colleges I'm thinking about list. All right, and just like you could before, you can click on the college, the name to go to the profile, and here's a situation where the college does not have an extended profile. So this is what it looks like without all those photos and videos available. So Naviance is broken up into two parts. You have the student section, which I've been showing you this whole time. There's also the section that we counselors and Anne-Marie Galetto use and your teacher recommenders use. And this is more or less like the back end of things where we are going to be doing a lot of the work and keeping track. We can run reports on college matriculation, college applications. Right now, we are at 88.9% of our students who have applied. Okay, so it helps us keep track that way. In addition to that, if I go and look up Mr. Dorfman, this is his college page. This is where I can see the colleges that he's applying to. See, I can take a look at what we've done. If the student has submitted this application, it would say that here. I can keep track of all the deadlines. I can also keep track of like what we've submitted to a college, when it was submitted to a college, whether or not that college downloaded that student's application. So we really have access to a lot of good information to help students and support them throughout this process. It's really awesome. No longer do I have to sit around and lick envelopes and put them in the mailbox before Christmas break. All I have to do is go in here and click a couple buttons, upload my rec letters, and hit submit, and we're good to go. So this really makes it so much better, so much more efficient for me to be able to work more closely with the students and help them on the essay development, working on their application, doing resume work, whatever. So I'm not doing paperwork. I'm working directly with the students throughout this process. And that's why I like Naviance so much, is that it frees up our time to give you and the students that individualized attention that you need, to go through this, which we've done hundreds of times. This is my 22nd year at McQuaid. There's hardly anything that myself, Anne Marie, or John Young, with our combined like 80 plus years of experience, that we've almost seen it all, especially coming out of a pandemic. But there's still something that we would embark upon that's something new, and if there is, we'll figure it out together. So that being said, please reach out to us with any questions. If you're interested in getting into Naviance sooner than later, please reach out to Anne-Marie Galetto. Parent credentials for getting into Naviance are going to be sent out on or around January 9th, which is the night of our junior parent information evening at 6:30 in the auditorium. If you're available to come to that, great. If not, we are going to record it and post it on our website. So with that, I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and found it to be extremely useful. Thank you very much.